Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone to this kind of a weekly live stream now happening during this embedded wallet hackathon. We're super excited. This is all in collaboration with amazing partner. We already did couple of live stream, one actually last week. And I think this week is all about SNS and live coding something, breaking something with Akash and Yash. Before we start, do you want to quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Akash. I wear a lot of hats at SNS. I always say this, but primarily I'm focused on DevRaw right now. So helping partners integrate, helping developers build with us, this sort of thing. And I'm happy to be here.
Hey, thanks for the introduction, Akash. And I'm Yash. I've been in the streams for like 3 weeks now, so I guess a few people might know me. And I'm the developer for Embedded Wallets at MetaMask. And yeah, I've been doing a lot of different coding things recently, so this will be quite interesting.
Oh yes, yes. Especially because I think it's one of the first live coding session that we do around kind of like identity and bringing kind of like SNS here is also like help us kind of thinking about dApps that people can build around the hackathon around identity. So that's actually exciting. So we see hopefully the demo gods are with us. We will show some code and please make sure that you ask question in the chat and. And we already have what is that? A comment here, Akash. Akash is coded. So that's not really cool.
So that's
So,
one of our ambassadors. It's good to see you here, man.
yeah, it's good to see a bunch of like actually like people. And please, like, if you have, if you're want to get intros, if you're kind of joining this live stream, feel free to comment in any platform in this live stream where you're from, maybe like flag. So we see also like bunch of people where are those from and how they're interacting with us. And as always, make sure you ask question, maybe help us debugging if we find some problems. And without kind of further ado, I say let's get started. We have a little bit less than 1 hour, but we kind of always going more. But let's try to make it for this time. So what we actually like speak about, right? As we kind of like launched a couple of weeks ago, we have this MetaMask Dev Cook-Off Embedded Wallet Edition. Um, a hackathon happening. And during this launch, we also said, let's do some live coding session to actually like help and support builders that have question or open-ended question to actually showing that we are also like able to build something and kind of like and showing like how you can build it. So we'll actually like give some color before we're doing that. So we want to kind of like speak what are actually embedded wallet. And I think there is no better person actually to run this through Yash. And then we'll actually like say a little bit like how we are using embedded wallets today, what are kind of some of the use case, and I think we will also break down a little bit like the hackathon tracks, so everybody kind of like already get an idea what is the hackathon, but most important, what are the tracks they can kind of like target, and we try to stay very kind of like general. And one big category is actually around and one of my favorite around identity. So there is actually like super interesting, and then we actually speak what is NS, and we will have also Cash kind of like giving some colors on that. And finally, we will make kind of like the main part here, like we will speak about, and we will build some kind of like quick integration.
That's
So
awesome.
anything that I'm losing here or I'm missing around what we will
Ah,
do
you
today?
you just covered it all. Nothing for me to speak at this point.
No. I think like we need definitely like the part around what is happening. So we kind of put again this QR code here. We're working right now on this. So why is so exciting this hackathon in particular is because as many of you guys know, we were at Solana Accelerate months ago where we launched MetaMask on Solana natively. But most important now we're becoming like more and more kind of, let's say, DevX and dev friendly. And we actually said, okay, we need to organize with this top layer in the space a 1 month kind of hackathon around embedded wallet, but also leveraging all the tech stack around Solana. So it's great to have both SNS and Solana Foundation hosting this monthly hackathon with us. And let's do it. Like, I think like you're probably the best person here, Yash. You've been not just brainstorming all these topics and tracks, but also I think there is a deep thinking why are those tracks. So you want to kind of like walk us through a bit the reasoning why and what use case people can build today in this hackathon.
Definitely. So, This hackathon is based on everything Solana, and everything what Solana stands for is like general applications, trying to get the next set of users, next billion users into the Web3 ecosystem, right? And embedded wallets is one of the most easy things to get people on board into the ecosystem as well, because people are aware about how like simple Google login can just work and make wallets for you. I'll explain embedded wallets in a while, but I just wanted to make a whole brief about it. So this hackathon is focused on anything what generally you can build using the embedded wallets SDK on from MetaMask, that is Web3 Auth, and also like all sorts of technologies that you can utilize and what you can actually imagine it to be, from AI agents to maybe a cross-chain application to RWAs and tokenization to DeFi. And the most important thing is the consumer application. So we have actually covered the whole spectrum of applications that you can build, and that we actually see right now over here, like what the Web3 ecosystem has to offer in general. I see one question, the Idea Bank, please add more cooking recipes. So if you want to check out the cooking recipes for each of the tracks, just go over the Idea Bank. And like if you have any suggestions, just try to just ask on the forum what we have, or just make something cross track as well. Whatever is fitting the track in whatever way, we will definitely support it for sure. We want a lot of innovation out of this. We don't want you to be focused on one single aspect of it. The only request is to use the different technologies what we have offered in order to achieve the best UX, best like terms of experience in general for anybody using it. And that's why we have added the best use of Solana Pay, the best use of SNS, blockchain for good, and these kind of extra tracks. So talking about the tracks in general, those five major tracks are equally split in terms of the first, second, third prizes, and then extra amount is added on top via Solana Pay for 2,000, SNS for 2,000, similarly 1,000 by blockchain for good. And one of the most interesting ones we have given first, second, third in terms of like social media presence. So see how your friends and how you all interact with us, and how like great you are in terms of promoting your hackathon projects. So that is something we thought about it as well. So in general, we just want you to build something interesting, whatever you feel deeply about. We will support you in whatever way possible, not just with the hackathon, but after the hackathon as well. And that is the main aim of this one.
Oh yeah, you could not save it better, right? Especially because we are encouraging not just, building from scratch, but also if founders and builders have already kind of the apps and you want to extend the functionality and build on top of things, adding functionality around SNS, integration around identity. I think that's also like a perfect use case. So we definitely encourage not just this 48 hours kind of like hackathon, but a longer building session, but also extending the functionality around what you're building. And I think a lot of people appreciate, because sometimes the 48-hour sprint is very kind of like hectic.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. I think that's super exciting. I think at the end we can also like showing what's the HackWest page is about. I think like Dexter, what you're speaking about, kind of like this idea bank, we can show you a little bit what it's all about. But make sure also you check this QR code, and you're getting redirectly directly to the hackathon. Okay, so what are embedded wallets? You wanna screen share, Yash? You want me to continue? I'm fine with whatever we wanna do here.
No, I'm just going to quickly share my screen.
Yes.
So over here. So like I was just talking about generally about embedded wallets, but I wanted to like have you a sense of what exactly are embedded wallets. So I just went to the Web3 or
You know
demo,
what?
which is like,
Like, if
Mhm.
well, let's ask a question in the chat. Like, if you know what
Yeah.
embedded wallet are, let's comment something, right? Comment yes or no. Just so we know. Also, we capture like how actually many people are listening this right now. But sorry, Yash, go for it.
That's perfect. I would love that. So like when I talk about a wallet connection in any dApp, what you see generally is like connect via MetaMask or any other wallet of sorts. Like there are hundreds of wallets already available, right? And people just go over there and like connect to their existing ones. Select their chain, for example. I'll select Solana here over here, and I'll just quickly connect my MetaMask wallet. Okay, I can just connect my account. and I'm done, right? I get my wallet address, everything. I can make a transaction. I can just sign a message or whatever. I need to approve it again and again, right? So this kind of a experience people are already used to. But think about your mom using it, your grandmom using it, right? They don't know what is a wallet. They just know, okay, at this point, I can just add my email ID, add my password, and I'll just log in. People are more aware about maybe the SMS OTP flow, right? So you can try all of those things. I'll try a simple Google login. I could have tried SMS as well, but I was like, I'm not going to trust the internet carriers at this point when I'm on a live stream, at least. So I'll just go and do a Google login. And if I do a Google login, it's just a normal login, right, for me. And using this, I'll generate a wallet address instantly after this. So as I'm logging in, see the login happened, and I have a wallet address exactly the same way as I had using MetaMask, right? And it's exactly using what you use inside of MetaMask as well. It's a non-custodial account. It's not like when you log into Coinbase or any Binance or anything like that, you get a custodial account using the social login, because that money is not like held by you. That money is held by the exchange, right? Here you are holding the money. That is the most important part. So you're getting that kind of security, that kind of an autonomy while doing the simplest login. And how this is possible is via our backend infrastructure that is using Shamir's secret sharing, which is basically your particular think about your secret phrase, for example, or your account private key is split into multiple parts across a node network, and that is dynamically reconstructed on the front end. So we can go into the depth of all of these things, but we have already gone in a few live streams about this, so I won't go into a lot of depth. The basic idea is it's a simple SDK that helps you log in via socials, log in via things people are already used to, right? So same Web 2 flow in the Web 3 world. That is all embedded wallets is all about. Yeah.
Nice. Nice, nice, excited, excited. I think that's also like sure. So I think like you mentioned also how we want to use kind of like MetaMask kind of like embedded wallets. Um,
Hmm.
I really find the fact that you can give instruments to founder and apps owner to build a social from social login to SSO login super super useful. And let's take it away. So I think like now this part is all about kind of like how we can use those. MetaMask embedded wallet, how we deep dive in the Web3 auth kind of tech stack. And I think like, even before like we're starting, I love the docs of Web3 auth since the start. So very, very easy to understand.
Right. So we have spent a lot of time building the documentation around different things over here. And this particular hackathon is focused on the plug and play SDKs you can integrate in web, mobile, gaming, everywhere. So you just have to go to this URL, web3.io/docs. And inside of this, whatever you want to build, like for example, I want to build using React. I have a React Hooks SDK directly. And you can see the code base. You can play around with the code base as well. You can see the preview of how this particularly is working and stuff like that. And if you want to go for a particular guide, you can just search for it as well. For this hackathon, I would recommend using either any of our mobile or web SDKs, and they all have something or the other for Solana. For example, the React SDK directly has Solana hooks internally. Similarly, Vue has Solana composables. And we'll be focusing on this while we are developing the application today as well. So if you want to sign and send transaction, we have direct things available using the internal libraries of Solana. We are internally using Solana with 3JS, but making it easier for you to follow as well. So one of the interesting things is if you want any examples, you can directly go to our examples repo. One way is to just go over here and click on Solana Quick Start. So this will take you directly to the Solana example, which I'm opening manually because I'm so used to opening up the repository over here. So coming over here, this particular repository is what we are going to follow. This is the same repository we followed in our previous stream as well. This is the basic quick start containing everything, uh, like everything for Solana connection, everything basic over here. So if I walk through this, I should have. Yeah, I already have an example. Actually, like Akasha and I were working on it just to implement different kind of things. So I will be walking through you through the Web3 auth part so that you are aware, and then Akash will be taking you through the SNS part so that like every single thing you are able to understand. So in terms of this application, it's quite simple. So if you see, if you don't take into these two particular libraries into account right now, because we'll be talking about this later, we're using directly the Solana Web3.js and Web3 auth module. That's it, right? Most of the basic things you need to get started. This will help you with social logins. This will help you with the blockchain calls. We have Axios over here for particular calls to the server that is used directly by the SNS service as well over here, what we have created. But the basic example, if you see, is just needing these two. Actually, I can show the quick start as well. It's in exactly the same repo. Let me just go over here because then people will be able to draw the comparison
We
perfectly.
live.
See, only two dependencies. Yes, perfect. So the next thing is we go and look at the code. What are the different things we are talking about here? So I'm just taking into account some Web3 auth user info, some Web3 auth connection, and these direct hooks. But how am I configuring it? That's the important question. So if I go into the context, this is where we configure things. I just take the client ID from the Web3 or dashboard and add a network to it, right? So how do I do that? So I'll just log in into the Web3 or dashboard directly. I have logged in over here. I'll just log out and show you how I did this. So I'll quickly log in. I'll use this account. Perfect. This is the particular account we have been using for maintaining a lot of examples. You'll see some snippets here and there if you are already following a lot of our ecosystem calls and stuff like that. So you might find some Easter eggs here and there. So this particular application we are using, and this is the client ID, right? And it's fine to expose the client ID because all of these domains, what we have whitelisted, only there this particular one will work, right? Or this is also a DevNet one. So this is not a lot somebody can do as well. So it's fine if you are using a public client ID in your example application for it over here. If you are going to mainnet, then I would recommend you to go and into the environment route, right? And I just have to go to chains and networks and enable Solana over here. That's all I need to do. That's it. Once I have done that, I can just come and just write this basic code, the network and the client ID, and my configuration is done. And now, if I go into main.tsx, I just have to wrap this with the Web3 auth provider. And this enables me to have all these hooks available into the whole application directly. And once I've done that, I can fetch my balance, I can send transactions, sign message, and do all sorts of stuff. This is the same thing we have done in this SNS application as well, what we'll be talking about with Akash in this particular stream. And we already have a pretty cool example where we are fetching all sorts of domain names. I can just search for a particular domain name, resolve it. I can buy one and do every single transaction I can think about. So over here, I have this account. I try to sign a message similar to what I did earlier. So hello, and I think I'll get a hash. As simple as that. So over to you, Francesco, if you want to move forward with any questions over here, or we can move forward with Akash to present us with SNS.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm excited to hear what SNS is doing. I think the quick start is very straightforward. I think also like we're working on some kind of like quick starts on the Solana side. So I think the DevX here is also like getting much more kind of like lean, and the more guides are coming. So that's exciting. I think what we're missing here right now is SNS. What is SNS?
Yeah.
Why we kind of like doing that? I think the identity is one of the biggest kind of track that we have here, and let's talk about it, Akash. We're super excited to have you here again, and yeah, You wanna screen share? Let me know, or I can also happy to screen share.
Sure. No, let me give some background, I guess, before we jump into. I did want to screen share our integration documentation. But for those who are unfamiliar with SNS, the Solana Name Service, we try to make your blockchain or Web3 experience more human. And the way we do this is through replacing these strings and hashes of random letters and numbers with real human readable identities. And I think it's easy to understand why that a name that you've chosen for yourself is preferred to these random strings and hashes. But I think as you were going through like the embedded wallet flow and the ease of onboarding for normies, I really thought about like back in my early Web3 journey and like really getting a hang of things. I think like any point of friction when you're onboarding someone can be like a make or break point. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you look at this, you create a wallet, you see these hashes, you're trying to transfer funds from your Coinbase or whatever to your actual wallet. And it becomes this friction point to where like, oh, I don't know if I'm entering the right address. What is this address? How do I make, like it becomes just, I think, a little bit of pain that I think in those early moments of onboarding someone can be like, okay, I don't want to mess with this. Like, I don't think crypto's for me. I don't think I want to do this thing that my other friend who, maybe is a Dogecoin millionaire is telling me to get into. Like, I don't want to do this. Right. So I think, embedded wallets along with SNS and creating identities instead of these hashes can be a super powerful onboarding step. And so we talked about, so somebody had asked about the idea bank. That is SNS's take on building with our SDK for this hackathon in particular. It's thinking about how do we create sort of an onboarding kit. And we think when you onboard someone, identity is one of the first things that needs to happen, just because it makes the rest of your onboarding journey that much simpler. And so the way you can do this as a hackathon participant, as an app developer, is to integrate SNS. And we have a very snazzy SDK that I will share my screen and share the integration documentation. So, like you guys, we take pride in our documentation. A lot of us spend time.
Actually, I was following it. It was quite straightforward as
Okay,
well. I loved
I
it.
appreciate it. So we've got some pretty strong documentation, and honestly, I think our SDK is like just very simple. I know Francesco, you were saying like you've always run over on these live coding sessions. I'm hoping our code is simple enough that we could get it done pretty quickly.
That's fine.
So yeah, if you guys head over to docs.sns.id, that's where or /dev, that is where our developer documentation lives. I am very proud of this. We created a quick start section. So it's, if you're a consumer facing app and you need to get an identity layer set up instantly, you can do this very simply through our quick start. So we've got some resolve functionality. Resolve is really helpful for if you've got any kind of like transfer functionality in your application, instead of requiring your users to enter, again, this random hash, this random wallet address. You can actually just enter domains, and it's that simple and straightforward. It'll resolve to the corresponding domain address, and you can set up a transfer. I think that's super powerful. Primary domains. Primary domains are essentially a user's preferred identity on chain. There are a lot of people who like to collect domains. Like anything, things can be collectible. It's like Yash, you're in Dubai. I think of like the Dubai license plates. The lower digit ones can be valuable, and we've got Pokemon domains. And there's a lot of things people like to collect. But a primary domain is a domain that someone has chosen out of all the domains that they own as their identity. So instead of getting a user's domains and just picking a random one to display in your user profiles or wallet connect components, we prefer that you use a primary domain. So this is how you fetch it. And domain records. Primary domains and domain records, I think, are incredibly powerful. They, out of the box, create a social layer for your applications. And I think like it's cool because like I tried to impose the importance or the sort of gravity of what this does, but now that I'm talking to a developer audience, I think you can imagine what it takes to set up a user profile system when it comes to front end, back end, setting up a DB. There's a lot that I think could go into it. With primary domains, you instantly create, and primary domains and domain records, you can instantaneously create an identity layer, because one, you've already got a username, quote unquote, or identity, and then domain records can tie in different web socials like Twitter, like Discord. There's a bunch actually, a Telegram, and you can use these records that users set in your apps as well. So super powerful stuff, and how you integrate is right on our documentation. There's one other thing in the example that we're going to go through a little bit later that I touch upon, and it's not really a use case for every application, but if your application has the opportunity to register domains, for instance, in the hackathon idea bank, we think that once you set up an embedded wallet and your app is sort of onboarding someone, we think you should get somebody their domain. There's a way to actually register directly from your application, and that is at this registration section here. We've got a snazzy widget that can kind of take all the UI frustrations away from you. So you can integrate that directly. It's a simple React component, or also we've got SDK methods that'll allow you to do as well. And so we'll walk you through the SDK methods here shortly.
What is the snazzy thing about? Because I'm seeing that in the comments as well, particularly.
It's clean, it's simple, and I think it's just so honestly, like I haven't used it in a while, Yash, and when we were talking about like what we should give examples for, I was like, okay, let me make sure I still remember how to do this. And I was like, oh, it's literally, you just in the root of your layout or what, you just add the component. It's so simple, but it's so clean and really powerful to be able to register domains directly from any application. So I think that's that. Celine,
awesome.
Who's commenting, by the way, is our head of
love the
She's
community
very very enthused, but yeah. And then, okay, so do we have anything else, or should we jump into the code example?
Let's actually jump into the code example directly and see what exactly is going on. Okay, so yes, this is the part where I'm most excited to share my screen and show things around. Just a moment.
Or the screens. So you have like.
Yeah, that's why I have two screens. What exactly is going on? I have to actually notice as well. Because literally just before the stream, we were like having RPC issues and what sort of stuff. Like the same thing we had in the last stream. Some of the other domains blocked by my VPN and stuff like that. So like just focusing on things, like making sure it all works before the stream as well. Because in this stream, we are not covering just one function. We are trying to cover the whole suite of functionalities that SNS offers, and that's why we are thinking like it's better if we just show it all to you rather than just figuring out things on the stream itself. So for this particular component, what we have done is we have taken the simple Solana functions, use Solana wallet, which will help from us to get the account and the connection directly from Web3 auth. So you do not need to like additionally create it. And then we are using the Solana Web3.js for public key and transaction. We tried other things, but I guess these are not working. So let me just remove all of these things. So public key is just needed to get like the public key from the account itself, and transaction is needed when we are trying to like set up a transaction, basically as a type generally. Some React components, and let's talk about the things we are getting from SPL name service. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got our resolve function. I mentioned this earlier, but this essentially allows you to resolve a domain string into the corresponding wallet address. Again, super powerful for anything like transfer functionality. And then we have got our get primary domain. So again, the primary domain is a user's chosen identity out of all of their domains. And we really think this is a great way to create some personalization in your application. So that is the function for this. Then we've got get multiple records v2. We had an earlier iteration of domain records, but with v2, we've introduced staleness checks. So making sure that a domain that is, a record that's attached to a domain was set by the current owner. And if not, you get a Boolean flag indicating that it's stale. And then we've also introduced something called rights of association. So this is essentially for something like a ETH wallet record, you can essentially sign to prove that you own the wallet, and that way enhances security for these records. And then we've got the record enum, and I've got DevNet as well in the online example. There we were using DevNet, and so in case you guys want to use DevNet and not incur actual costs, we've got the DevNet suite. It's got all the bindings that we'll need, and I'll walk through that as well.
Awesome, perfect. So while I'm running this application, I've switched to mainnet so that we are able to see exactly if the domains are available on mainnet or not. We also have DevNet available. So you just need to basically make sure in your Web3 auth dashboard, you are enabling the Solana DevNet and testnet as well accordingly. So whatever you need, you just need to enable that network. For this one, we are particularly just focused on the mainnet while we are demonstrating to you. And when this code will get live and you can just play around with it, DevNet will be also available. The code is available, but it's easier for us to like not switch chains while we are thinking about the base, because otherwise multiple chains will have different registries available, right? So here, so this was about the Name Service. So can you explain what are these different two particular what like dependencies about, like SPL token particularly is needed for what, and SPL Name Service is
Sure.
needed for what?
So I think, and if I remember correctly, the SPL token library we need, because we're going to be creating a transaction wherein we're going to pay some funds to register a domain, and so we need to get the associated token address of a specific token account from a user, and then if it's not available, we're going to actually have to create it. And then syncing wrapped SOL and native SOL is also really important. And so we've got the SPL token function for that as well. And sorry, what was the other one, Yash? Or was that it?
SPL Name Service was yours only, so it actually helps you to just create the SNS
Yep.
directly, right? And and finally, we have Axios, the typical library we use in JS if we don't want to use the longer code of just get and push all those requests, right? Basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, moving forward over here, we have multiple state records. We should not go into it. We'll just explore it one by one. So let's go into the functions directly. So first is the domain registration. So let's see what exactly this is doing. Would you like to go over it, Akash?
Yeah. So essentially, the domain registration creates your chosen name and creates a name registry for it on chain. So essentially, securing your identity on Web3. That's how we like to think of it anyway.
It already exists. Hello Kitty.soul already exists. So I just was trying it out if I can get it or not, but it actually exists. So yeah, it'll tell you if it exists or you can just buy it over.
So and that's something fun to note when you guys are building this out. In this example, I do have a fun little util function because obviously you want to check if a domain already exists before you try to register it to avoid any errors. So it's just a util function that hits a exists endpoint that we have on our API. Again, it's all exposed in this example, but highly recommend if you guys are doing some kind of registration functionality that you implement this this helper function just to make sure you don't run into any errors at the point of transaction.
Perfect. So for the registration, I just checked over here directly if this particular input existed or not. And if it does not exist, what am I doing over here? Get associated address sync and the further particular
Okay.
functions.
So and then this I'm sure I don't know the experience level of of the devs on this call, but like when I was first introduced to Solana development, this this concept of creating instructions and then kind of pushing instructions as you go was really powerful to me. So it is a pattern that we use throughout our code base. So that's what you're seeing. This constant IX is short for instruction. So we're just creating the constant, and then we're going to go through and create an associated token address again. So this example specifically was on DevNet. It's using native mint, which is Solana. So get associated token address sync. gets the ATA of Native Mint, basically the token account for a user's wallet address, and we're going to need that to create the transaction. If the ATA doesn't exist, we go ahead and create one, right? So that's going to be this next line, the create ATA IX, the create ATA instruction with the SPL token function, the create associated token account indepitent, I believe is how you say that word. Essentially, all you're going to do is pass the public key, which in our case is going to be the owner of the current wallet, the ATA that we derived with get associated token address sync, public key again, and then native mint. So native mint is, I think you guys might have seen it. It's just the, oh, that's not good. Sorry about that. It's just the token address for Solana. I believe it's the same on DevNet and mainnet, but the token library exposes it very simply. So native mint. So now this IX is pattern, right? If the ATA didn't already exist, we create the instruction and then we push it into our instructions array and we move forward. So next up, we've got our registration instruction. And again, so this is using, if you want to use DevNet, you would use devnet.bindings.register domain name v2. For Yash, in our case, if we're going to be using mainnet, I would just remove the devnet.bindings, and that way you will be using the register domain name v2 function. If you want to go ahead and import that, it should work splendidly. So, and what we need to pass to register domain name v2 is going to be the connection. We've got state for registration input. So essentially whatever the user is entering into the input. Interestingly, the next parameter is going to be space. Space is a you can add, you can allocate literally kilobytes of space, up to 10 kilobytes of space onto a domain. It's honestly a seldom used functionality. So recently we've defaulted to it being 0. If you think you can utilize this, if you're a developer, you want to build something cool within this sort of small constraint of space on your domain, you can. Please feel free to raise that number. But for our example, we're going to set it to 0. Public key, again, which is going to be the connected wallet, the associated token address, which is the token address, is the wallet's token address for Solana. Give me one moment. Let me turn this. Turn my phone off real quick. I have this thing where I block unknown callers because I get spam calls like 60 times a day. But I turned it off recently because I had somebody coming to my home and I needed to make sure I answer their call. Anyway, okay. I was fumbling on describing the ATA. Okay, so it is the associated token address for a specific wallet of the native mint. Okay, so we're going to pass that into your registered domain name v2, and then we'll pass the actual address of native mint as well. It's like the Sol 1111 Solana address. Okay, so once that instruction is set up, again, we push it into our instructions array. It's important to do it in this order, by the way, because the domain registration functionality checks for the ATA. If it doesn't exist, we do need to have created it. Okay. And then moving on, this stuff is pretty standard to any Solana transaction, but essentially we're going to get the latest block hash and then create a transaction with it. Yeah. Basically, if we get a signature back, we're going to assume that our transaction was successful and we'll be good to go. You would have registered a domain. It's
perfect. So I recap over here because I was trying to understand myself. So basically, this needs a transaction in which I need to give an array of the associated token address with the particular like domain name registered function output, which contains ATA, which is the associated token address, along with the public key of the person registering it, the registration input, which is exactly the domain, and obviously the connection, because from which you are actually sending over the information. Quite standard stuff, I believe. The only thing that you need to create is this ATA, except that everything is quite standard in that way, right? And you just need to directly send a transaction of it.
Very simple. Yep, and that's it. I'm like feeling. I'm like, am I missing anything, or is it that simple? No, it really is that simple, guys. Like I have to brag a bit about our SDK. Like once you get it up and running, it really is like clockwork. And we'll if we go through this example further, you've now registered a domain. Now, what would be fun is if I could enter that domain somewhere and it resolves to the wallet address that you've registered it with, right? How nice would that be? So I can transfer you whatever it is with a simple, enter my address. Okay. Oh, exactly. The example's right there. We've resolved an address quite simply. So
I want to check who owns actually HelloKitty.Soul. We were just
yeah,
talking about it. Okay. It might be not .soul or something, is it? I'm not sure. Because when I was registering it, somebody used to own it. I cannot resolve into
Oh, okay.
address.
Okay. Do we need to do some troubleshooting? Oh, there it is. Okay. SNS.
No, I just check for SNS because technically this
Yeah.
function is working. Is it a way that you can actually hide your address or something?
So what you can do, and let me link this actually. So we've got documentation that basically talks about the steps we take to resolve an address. And if you want to resolve your address, if you want your your domain to resolve to another wallet, for instance, people can do this with ledgers, and there's ways to enhance security here. You can set what's known as a SOL record. So when you set up a SOL record, your resolution will actually point to that instead of the domain or the wallet that's holding your domain. Let me link that real quick because the resolution process is interesting, and there's a few different ways you can think about resolution. Let's see. I have private chat. Should I share it in private chat, or is there a way?
Yeah, just share in private chat. I'll just share it over here. Perfect. Thank you for that. And I can see it over here.
Yeah. So as you can see, there's a whole process. But this graphic is great. So if it's tokenized, the destination is still the token holder. If a SOL record exists, then we move on to essentially in a nutshell, it's going to resolve to the SOL record instead of the wallet that's holding the domain.
Makes sense. So it should actually resolve something. So there might be something else going on over here in this particular code base.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Let me check on SNS.io real quick and see what's going on with Hello Kitty. Oh, it's listed. Okay. I think that's probably what's going on.
What do you mean?
It is listed for sale. Yeah. So it's not resolved.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So essentially, if it's listed for sale, we obviously don't want the funds to go to like our listing escrow. So it's not resolving for that reason. Yeah. And let's see. Hold on.
That makes sense.
How much are they? It's listed for 52 SOL. $10,000 if you want HelloKitty.Soul, guys. seems like a bargain if you ask me. So
sure, a random domain I think about is already for sale for $10,000. That's interesting. That's crypto for you.
So, but I think that also brings up something important maybe for UX when you're thinking about this. If resolved domain is breaking, it is probably because of something like this where it's listed or the fund should not be sent to this resolved address. And so you're going to want to have some kind of fallback functionality here in your applications in case resolution is breaking. And really, I think listings would be the only case where that is an issue. And so obviously you don't want whatever you're trying to transfer to go to our listing escrow. So yeah, I would think about some kind of fallback functionality, either prompting the user to enter a wallet address or something like this.
Makes sense. Perfect. So we have already seen like how it is resolved. In terms of code, how does it resolve? So you just need to call the resolve function, that's it, with your connection and a domain input. That's quite simple there. I don't need to do anything else.
Yes. Again, I have a little bit of, I'm a little nervous. I'm like, am I missing something? No, that's it. That's it's a really cool. Yeah, honestly, this one is funny to me because I'll work with projects a lot, and I'm like, hey guys, like let's just set up resolution, right? And obviously, it's hard to know like the depth of their systems, but I'm like, I just look at the docs real quick. I promise you, resolution. It's quicker than you think. People give us like timelines and stuff. I'm like, just trust me on this one. It's quicker than you think. So yeah, but if anybody has issues with any of the code here, I'm readily available. My Twitter is @niftydegenerate. We've got a dedicated developer channel on Discord. Like, happy to walk through any issues you guys run into. But all right, shall we move on?
Perfect. And I guess resolve domain should be the first thing somebody implements, because it's just one line of code and you'll actually know if everything is working for you or not. And then you can move forward with registration or doing something else
Yeah,
as well,
yeah. Honestly, I
directly.
wanted to include registration in the example because of how we're thinking about the hackathon track in particular. That one, honestly, it's a pretty niche use
Mhm.
case. Not a lot of applications are going to have a need to really register directly from app. But since
Mhm.
this is embedded wallet hackathon and we're talking about onboarding and normies, I thought it would be pretty helpful to include.
Makes
Yeah,
sense. Perfect. So now we have done the basic things. You have bought a domain. You can actually resolve it to your address or somebody else's address, whoever is doing the domain. And now is the second thing. You are owning multiple domains, and now you want to set up primary domains or fetch a primary domain for a particular public key, as it seems from this
that's right.
function,
Yeah.
right?
So let's walk through it. And again, primary domain, I think just imagine not having to build out a username system in your application. I think you can save so much time. I'm trying to emphasize, just how important this can be, or how simple we make it. So no username system, nothing like that. Don't need it. It's simply if a user has a primary domain, we can use it. Otherwise, if they don't have a primary domain, you could probably get away with just fetching all domains and then picking one from a list of the that's returned, right? But we prefer that you use primary domains as a first line of defense, let's say. So let's walk through the code. So
Mhm.
simply, we've got some checks here so that TypeScript doesn't yell at us, basically at the top. Yeah,
Of
and
course.
then we go into a try block. And the first thing, of course, is again setting up this public key. And then we're going to use
Yep.
that to call get primary domain. We want to extract the domain that's
Mhm.
returned from get primary domain. So all you got to pass is the
Mhm.
connection and public key, which is the owner. And that's about it. If it errors out, it's probably because a primary domain is not set. So in your catch block, you can set up some error handling functionality. You can set up some kind of fallback functionality where you're getting a list of users' domains, and then setting their username, quote unquote, as something from that list.
Mhm.
And that is also in our documentation as well. So if you guys want to look through get all domains of a user, we've got that handy for you.
Makes sense. So basically, till now, what we have done is, like using this application, I can maybe just put in a sole address, and I can know if this is the legit person using the domain or not, or I can just actually put over the like address, or like for example domain I know of that person, like hellokitty.soul for example over here, and we can resolve it to some address that was a listed domain, but we got it for SNS soul and we got the address, so we know that this is a legit domain, this is not a fake domain, and we can actually send money directly to the address as well,
Absolutely.
right? And we can just go to the block explorer and check if what kind of transactions are happening, so that can help you out as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
Again, so yeah, for just to harp on the point for UX, I think that's so nice, right? Like you're just, oh hey, my buddy just onboarded me. He just got his domain. Let me send him some funds. Just enter hellokitty.soul instead of, hey, send me your wallet address. What is the, oh, did I get the? Yeah, for me, I always check the first three and the last three of the wallet to make sure I'm sanity check. But when it's a human readable string, it's much simpler, and so that's what Resolve helps you do.
Yep. Perfect. Now, this is fetch domain records. So what exactly it's doing, and I can see a lot of different socials over here
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
absolutely. So let me walk through this. So again, records in a nutshell are little pieces of data you can attach to your domain, and we've got them to where you can enter other web socials. And this kind of helps create like a social graph or a social layer within your applications
Mhm.
themselves. So we think it's super powerful functionality. Not only this, but if you want to, like I said, delegate your funds to, instead of the wallet that's holding your domain, to a different wallet, you can do that with a Solana record. If you guys are on Ethereum, or you guys were on Ethereum, now on Solana as well, but if you guys want to maybe have some kind of fun resolution functionality with your .sol domain on another chain. You can also do this with our Ethereum record. We've got an injective record, I believe. So there's a lot of interesting stuff you can do. The depth of it is actually quite large. But I think since we're thinking about right now just sort of consumer applications and onboarding, we can think about creating some kind of social graph or social layer. And so that's what this is doing. So basically, let's walk through this again. We create a records to fetch array, and this is going to be using the record enum, which we import from the SPL name service library. So we've got Discord, Twitter, Telegram, GitHub, and a URL record, which is a web record essentially. And then we want to deserialize, excuse me, the
Sorry, I just roaming around and looking at the SDK, like how I do it. So basically, you can attach quite a lot of things: IPFS, ETHSOL, BTC, every single thing over here, as I see.
Absolutely. It's really cool. And people have built full, resolution application using an IPFS record, using IPNS records. The web record in particular is a very fun one because we've got a amazing partnership with the Brave browser. So you can enter in the Brave browser your .sol domain directly into the browser address bar, and it'll resolve to your URL record, which I think is so fun. Like, yeah, cool, right? Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely,
Interesting.
definitely. But like, otherwise, this is a web this is a web URL that you want to showcase as part of your social identity, and so apps can utilize this, right? Whether you want to put up a portfolio site or whatever it is, and if you can display that in your application, I think it's powerful. I think it's great. So we've got like a fun like Linktree-esque application. We've seen people build something like that with it, but there's the world is your oyster. We create the functionality for you to be able to
Actually, I was thinking exactly the same at this point. That's so interesting. So yeah, so we can just create a ton of records to fetch directly. This is fetching domains. That like, how do you actually register these things? That might be covered down the lane, or that is done during registration.
No. So that is a whole nother. So to set them, you can, if you want to do it from directly within your application, which is awesome. I encourage you to do so. We have got. I think we've got. Give me 1 second. Actually, I don't know if that's covered because it's a very niche use case, but I think it is. Let me double check. Okay, so we don't have the setting functions. I can link the actual. All of our stuff is open source, which is great. So I'll link the actual setting function from the GitHub repo itself. But really, if you want to set domain records, you can go to sns.id. You go to your domain, and there's a record section, and you can just enter the text strings for any domains that you want. Where we've seen it used, though, it's domain records are already set up, and so you're creating sort of a social layer within your application where you're fetching. Yeah, that's why we've got the fetch example here. So if we go back to your code, like you said, so this is a sort of arbitrary enum just for this example, or arbitrary array of just like social records that we think are important. But as you saw, the list is quite extensive, so you can adapt this to whatever your application requires. So then next up, we've got record options. We want to set deserialize. That word is so hard for me. Deserialize. True. This is just how we want to view the response from the SDK call. And then we're going to make a call to get multiple records v2. Again, that's the function we imported from our SDK. We pass the connection, the trimmed domain input, our records to fetch array, and then of course our record options object. And then we keep going. Let's see, processed records. Okay, so we've just set a type here, the record type names, and then we're iterating through essentially the return. And
we're just mapping it.
Yep. And then we set the records, and it's quite simple. I didn't notice that you did this mapping, but this is great. This is I think a great way to do it. This is verified is very powerful again. So when it comes to records like an Ethereum record or wallet record, like you really want to be sure that the person who's claiming to input this owns it, and so these are verifiable records. Not all of them will have a oracle that verifies, but if it is verifiable, you can get this this Boolean flag returned as well.
Perfect. I guess we have covered all the functions generally. Does domain exist? This is the only one that was being called
Mhm.
internally. So this is just uh, checking the response URL if it is existing or not, and that's all
Yeah,
it
and
is.
then also right above that, I think we've got the trim TLD in lowercase. I think I do
Oh
want to
yeah.
call that out. I mean, when you are registering a domain, you don't want the .sol. You know, some people will enter .sol thinking they need to in the input, so we automatically trim that from the input level itself. We do this on our front end as well,
Mhm.
and of course, we don't actually allow uppercase characters as domains, so we want to lowercase everything you enter. So if you notice, it won't let you enter an uppercase, and if you enter not sol, it should trim it immediately. If I set that up correctly.
Yeah, I'm trying to add the caps lock. Still, it's like smaller, and if I try to add dot sol, it's already. Oh, okay. It was dot capital sol, so that's why it took it as an input. As a do small letter, it's not. So there was a gotcha in that particular implementation, which is
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
fine.
So we need to lowercase it
You don't
first
know
so
that.
that it recognizes. Aha! Whoa, nice. Okay, I will, I will
Great.
submit a pull request to update that example. All right, guys, listen, we're
Yep.
debugging live here. Okay, you heard it here first. When you want to lowercase the input first, then do the trimming, because otherwise there's a way to get around it. The transaction will fail anyway, but you know, for UX, we want to make sure that we don't get to that point. Yeah.
Makes sense. Perfect.
And I think that's it. I mean, that's
So
you've got
yeah,
everything here
we've
to.
covered every single.
So sorry, go ahead.
We have covered basically every single function over here, and we've tested it around as well. So if anybody has anything particular to test, let us know in the stream as well. We can test your records, particularly in this example, or we have this example out here as a pull request, and we'll be publishing a guide afterwards as well, so you can just follow along and actually use it. So that was basically from the example. Is there anything else you want to cover from your like guide or anything from the docs
Yeah,
for
it's a
this
great
one as well?
question. No, honestly, registration again is not a functionality that we discuss very frequently. So I'm very glad to be able to have showcased that. One other thing that I think could be powerful is if you go to the subdomains section. Subdomains are really great
Mhm.
because uh, domains obviously cost money to register, but if you own a parent domain already, let's say you're our project and you guys own metamask.sol, for instance, you can create a
Mhm.
subdomain registrar, or you can build out the raw functionality with our subdomain SDK methods. But the idea is to be able to allow users to create a domain from your parent domain. So it would be like akash.metamask.sol. And this is really powerful because one, you can make it free, right? So you're just paying network cost or transaction cost. So it's a really fun way to onboard people at a very low cost. And you still can set a subdomain as a primary domain. You could still use them in your username
Mhm.
and identity layers. And to be able to do that at basically no cost is super powerful. Or on the other end, if you're a project and you are looking for another stream of revenue, you want to, you've got bills to pay, whatever it is, right? Server costs, things are expensive. Um, you can create a subdomain
Mhm.
registrar and monetize it, right? So you can literally be like, hey, join my community, get these subdomains, but it costs, whatever it is, 10 SNS token or whatever. You can set it to a token of your choosing. You can decide to NFT gate it if
Mhm.
you want. So if this is an NFT community, you can gate it as well, and then you can choose to monetize it. Right? So some really powerful functionality there. And so again, and this could be used within the embedded wallet flow as well. If you own your parent and as
Mhm.
part of this create username system, you wanted to do it for free, just make them subdomains of your parent and you can decide not to charge at all. And that's also a really cool thing to do. And we've seen a lot
Subdomain for
of,
your parent.
And
say that again.
No, no, subdomain for your parent. Funny, funny.
Yeah. My old mother getting a subdomain sounds like a lot of fun. But you know what? Onboard everybody.
I think that's especially on verifiable delegation will be super important because we want to kind of delegating rights, and I think like verifiable with an SNS
Mhm.
domain, for example, is super useful.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The sole domain record, the ether domain record, all of that is super powerful functionality that with the introduction of our V2 records, I think has been received very well.
Makes sense. And the process looks very simple as well as I see the documentation. Basically, you have to call the create subdomain like function, create that particular subdomain. As an owner, you have to particularly make sure you are creating it and actually sending the transaction, and then you can transfer it to anybody else, whoever you want to. So as I am seeing it, maybe I'm wrong, Akash. Let
No,
me
so
know.
that's right, and we recommend this if you want to perhaps subsidize the gas and do all of the transacting, like let's say on your own back end, which we did something similar to this with a campaign with the SUI name service. But basically, you're creating a back end and sort of manually creating the transaction and being able to pay for it yourself. If you want to create a registrar, it essentially allows the user to pay for the transaction fees, gas, and of course you can monetize it on top of that if you'd like. So that's the sort of difference between the subdomain example you're seeing here, and then the I think right below the subcategory of registrars is there as well. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I
makes
don't know if
sense.
yeah. So
Makes sense.
yeah, it's
Yeah, 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 got it.
slightly different. I mean, the end at the end, a user will get a subdomain, but sort of two different functionalities
Mhm.
or ways to get there. And I did a whole video
Makes
on
sense.
those, so you
Okay.
guys can you guys can
I
know.
see,
I
very
can see
cool.
that.
Yeah, thanks, thank you. But yeah, I think
Awesome.
that was probably
Perfect.
the only other thing that we didn't add to the example that I think could be fun for folks to check out.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds really reasonable. And actually, we just like did it in React. We can do it in Vue as well. We have the composables, and you also have the direct functionalities, and just directly JS SDKs as well as I see. So it's pretty cool. Like it was a very easy integration, to be honest. There was a lot of different things that I learned as well. So thanks a lot for actually presenting that today.
Absolutely, and again, thank you. You know, I'm glad you thought it was easy. That makes my heart happy. You know?
I was able to follow along and actually tell a few things. I was like, okay, this definitely sounds easy in that case. So yeah, if anybody has any questions, let us know in the stream over here itself. And although we are kind of a bit over time, if that's one of the cases you want to actually see, Francesco.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if we want. I can quickly share, like for literally like two minutes here. Like so, I think like so. If you use the QR code, you're getting in this page. You know, MetaMask embedded wallet and Solana Dev Cook-Off. So basically, what you can see here is I think the resources we kind of spoke about. I think that's also like super useful. I think also like for overview, you have kind of like a breakdown of the bounty and the tracks. And what we were speaking before, like thanks for the comment that you remind us, is the idea bank. So the idea bank is nothing else. It's kind of like yeah, kind of like dApps that you can build that are kind of like giving you a brainstorming start. And everybody's kind of like free to do anything that they want. But I think starting with this and reading actually like specific kind of like ideas to implement and wish list from also like all the people that we kind of like ask around, it's a great start. And yeah, I mean, apart that, I think that's it. I think we shared already kind of like the QR code here. You can see there is already I think 200 plus participant until today, and yeah, I think
Wow.
the more the merrier. And I think leveraging embedded wallet, leveraging identities on a Solana stack, I think is definitely kind of next level, and every developer in the ecosystem should definitely consider in this kind of like either stack. So again, Akash, thanks so much also for being part of this, and Solana Foundation. So big shout out to you guys also promoting and pushing more and more the ecosystem further. And I will say we are good to go. Feel free always, like we will send some links. Make sure if you are at home and you want to build, make sure you check out also the live stream that we did last week with Solana Foundation. I think it's a good balance with today, and yeah, and let's keep building and looking forward for the judging. But until then, we will be always reachable in the Telegram MetaMask Dev Cook-Off channel. Our doors are always open. You can Twitter, Telegram DM, and there is a lot of like different venues. So always feel free to reach out if you have any blockers and help for debugging. So thank you so much, Yash, for hosting this session. Always amazing, and looking forward for more.
Obviously, thanks a lot for joining, everybody. If you have any questions, definitely, as Francesco mentioned, Telegram is over here, and also you have the community of Web3Auth, community.web3auth.io. You can ask any questions, anything related to SNS as well. We'll get Akash to help you out directly as well from there. And Akash, if you have any particular community or any place you would like to tell people about, it would
Yeah,
be awesome.
absolutely. Honestly, my favorite place to connect with devs, we have a dedicated channel on our Discord. It's called Dev Support, and I'm in there every day. So if you guys have any questions related to SNS, please feel free to pop your questions in there. If you prefer Twitter, you can DM me directly. It's at Nifty Degenerate, or DM the SNS Twitter directly as well. They'll pass the questions along to me. So there's a lot of ways to reach out to us. I think we actually do have a Telegram as well, although we don't get a lot of dev questions there. If you prefer to use Telegram, just feel free to pop it in there. Again, it'll get passed on. So yeah, absolutely. And again, thank you guys for having me. This was fun. I was very nervous about this. I won't lie, but you guys made it very painless. So
it was good. It was good. Thank you so much, Akash, for coming. Awesome.
Perfect. Thanks a
Awesome.
lot.
Thanks everyone for listening. This was a strong, packed 1 hour and 7 minutes. And I see you guys probably in the next live coding session, MetaMask community call, or on the ground. Thanks everyone.